With the NBA playoffs finally kicking off under the most unique circumstances we've ever seen in the league's history, Fanduel is pumping out slate after slate full of high-intensity games. To fill in those slates, join me in the next 5 minutes or less as I give you the picks that you need to succeed in Fanduel's after-hour slate of games on Monday, August 17th. My name's Quick Pick Nick, and by using math, computer science, and an infallible series of programs, I will show you the best players available given the salary cap. To start off this list with another lock of the week, my pick for the most valuable player in terms of expected output as well as price is Philadelphia's bubble breakout stud, Alec Burks. With Ben Simmons sidelined for the foreseeable future, Burks has really been able to step up his game recently, scoring at least 20 points in 3 of his last 4 games, and scoring at least 28 fantasy points in all 4. In addition, Burks is priced at a meek $3,900, meaning that you will be able to add Burks to your lineup, who will likely be able to score nearly 30 fantasy points, if not more than 30 fantasy points, with no dent at all to your overall salary cap. Following the lock of the week, a few other locks who I would consider necessary to succeed in this slate are Luca, Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, and Kristaps Porzingis. Now, although these players certainly aren't groundbreaking picks, as they're all very expensive and expected to put out those high numbers every game, they are still players that will likely be hugely beneficial, if not necessary, in your success tonight. Taking a closer look at each of these big-name players reveals why they are so crucial to your success. In Doncic's case, Doncic has played for around 40 minutes in almost every single one of his games during the bubble, meaning that he'll be able to score points throughout a game and continue to produce, as he will almost always be on the court to make plays. As for the man whose only emotions are happy and sad, Leonard scores more points than any other small forward by a large margin. Comparing him to the next most expensive option of Tobias Harris, Leonard usually scores somewhere around 10 more in-game points than Harris, and his fantasy points overall are the main benefactor of this massive scoring discrepancy. All bubble second team Kristaps Porzingis is in a similar position to Doncic, as the playtime that Porzingis is allowed per game ensures that he will be able to score enough points to warrant his higher cost of $8,600. Porzingis has also played for nearly 40 minutes for many of the Mavericks games in the bubble, proving that he will play a critical role in whether Dallas will find success tonight against the Clippers. Continuing with this lineup, the 2 point guards my model recommends are Shake Milton and Brad Wanamaker. Milton is another player who has benefited from Simmons' absence, as his fantasy output has gone up significantly since Simmons' departure, so look for Milton to continue to shake things up against Boston tonight. As for Wanamaker, it was assumed that once Kemba Walker fully returned to the Celtics lineup that Wanamaker would once again take the backseat role, but he's been able to show up even with competition at the point guard position, as both Walker and Wanamaker scored 27 fantasy points during Walker's first game back from injury. Moving to small forward, Gordon Hayward looks to be the most favorable option given the remaining budget. Hayward and Jaylen Brown have always been solid options at their position for Boston, and either one of them would probably be okay choices for this slate, but the reason that I took Hayward was because he has had a much better time during the restart than Brown. Plus, the $100 we save here ends up making a difference when everything's said and done with this lineup. Next, my model recommends adding Al Horford to the lineup. This former Celtic is going to be seeing some familiar faces on the court tonight, but that won't stop him from continuing to be a main contributor to the Sixers' overall play, as he's shown enough consistency throughout the bubble to prove that he's worth spending a little extra on him. The final player for this lineup could have gone one of 2 ways, but for me personally, I'm taking Joel Embiid. Embiid has been absolutely dominant during the bubble, scoring 80 fantasy points in his first game back alone, and is looking to be one of those players who's going to be separated from the rest of the pack of centers by a noticeable point differential. However, my model did initially pick Montrez Harrell to be in the lineup instead, as he was a significant factor in the Clippers lineup before the NBA was postponed back in March. The reason I was skeptical here was because Harrell is a big gamble tonight, as it will be his first game back if he plays in over 5 months, and his minutes are certainly not guaranteed. If you do choose to go out on a limb with Harrell though, I'd recommend upgrading Wanamaker to Kemba Walker for consistency's sake. As for myself, I'll be taking the former lineup, and that's what I would personally suggest for anybody following along at home. This has been Quick Pick Nick, the intersection for sports, data analysis, and speed. Thanks for watching.